Welcome to the Cloudinary e-commerce webinar. My name is Ariel Shiran and I have here Naveen Prasanna with me. We're both from Cloudinary's product team and hope you and your loved ones are doing well during these days. We'd like to spend the next 45 minutes talking about how you can leverage the Cloudinary platform to supercharge your e-commerce presence in the best ways. As we all know, media is crucial for engagement and crucial for conversions for any e-commerce presence. There are various studies which show the impact of bad media on online sales. For getting the right media to the right channel with the personalized experience users want and anticipate, a typical e-commerce operation relies on teams, on tools, on technologies. For staying ahead of the curve, you need to cater your users' changing tastes and behavior. And finally, you'll need to be agile, nimble, and operate at scale. Cloudinary was founded with the vision of freeing our customers from ever having to worry about image, video, or rich media management. In this webinar, we'll look at how you can leverage the Cloudinary platform through different aspects of managing media: creation of content, managing content, and delivery and innovation. Along the way, we'll highlight how AI can help you scale and deliver unique personalized experiences to your shoppers as well. To do all of that, we'll take an example of a new product release going from photo shoot to launching it on your website. We would like to start with a public service announcement. The unfolding COVID-19 global pandemic has hit everybody hard. We at Cloudinary believe in giving back to the community and doing our bit to help during this crisis. We recently launched an expanded Cloudinary for Nonprofits program. This program is designed to help these organizations manage their visual media more efficiently and productively at a reduced cost. Our goal is to empower nonprofits to create better visual experiences for their communities and donors and help further their missions. If you are a part of such efforts or know those who are, please direct them to cloudinary.com. Nobody can argue that the COVID-19 global pandemic has changed the e-commerce world. In our own personal lives and as consumers, we've made shifts that were unthinkable just a few months ago. Data shows that consumer behavior has changed rapidly. Buying patterns have changed, and there is an obvious jump in online shopping. We believe that over time, this will be the new reality. In this rapidly evolving environment, teams need to be agile. For example, many websites have had to create content much faster, change their product mix and create new products, and all of that for addressing this new evolving situation. With physical stores being shuttered and buying shifting to online channels even more than before, media becomes super important. The shopping experience needs to be visually rich and detailed. We'll cover all of that later in this workshop. Let's focus a bit on the media used in e-commerce in general. This media has to be rich and be a central piece in your customer's digital experience. It has to engage visually with them while ensuring performance. It must load fast and look great on every device. It has to be ready to be used online as fast as possible. So speeding up the whole process from photo shoot or from video shoot to this online presence is a key. The value of personalizing your campaigns and the option to let your customers customize the products they purchase is known to be critical to your revenues for quite a long time already. Media has to be streamlined across omni-channel asset workflows, which are common in any organization. And of course, you have to use this media in new stories and campaigns faster as well. But there's a big but here. You only get one shot. Consumers are unforgiving. They no longer base their loyalty on price or product. Instead, they stay loyal with companies due to the experience they receive. If you cannot keep up with their increasing demands, your customers will leave you. Cross-device shopping via a wide range of channels has made it difficult for companies to maintain consistency. Processes and technologies need to change in order to provide a consistent experience across all platforms. So let's have a look at some very interesting numbers. 79% of customers are unlikely to buy again after an unpleasant experience. 53% of them abandon a mobile site that takes more than 3 seconds to load. And there is also a 32% increase in the probability of bounce as page load times goes from 1 second to 3 seconds. But that's not all. 67% of customers mention bad experience as a reason for churn, but only 1 out of 26 unhappy customers complain. The rest, they just leave. The converse is true too. Customers are willing to pay a price premium of up to 13% simply by receiving a great customer experience. The channels which today's customers are engaging with your brand are evolving as well. They're much more digital and personalized than ever before. Even when talking about online purchases and engagement, these are much less dependent on search as it was in the past. Social networks, social influencers are all factors with a significant importance and actually ones that can affect your revenues. You also need to meet customers where and how they engage, which, by the way, is also rapidly changing and seeing innovation. Shoppable images on Pinterest, outfit mosaics on Instagram, shop the look-like experiences are just some examples of trends which have already become very popular. In most cases, we talk about e-commerce merchants, the need of a scale is common. Many people are involved in the creation of the final assets from a variety of functions within the organization and outside of it. A typical use case will not be with less than 5 people, but many times we're talking about much more than that. These people should create a variety of media assets of various types, but also manage it in an effective way. Think about a not that big catalog of 5,000 products, each of which has 4 images and a video. That already requires managing 20,000 assets. Now let's think about adding hundreds of products each season, and the numbers will grow really fast. These assets should then be used effectively in a variety of channels and displayed in several platforms on a big variety of devices. The number of media assets that is actually used is multiplied by at least 2 or 3, depending on your target customers and where you plan to engage with them. Cloudinary's dynamic media platform leverages AI and automation to simplify the entire visual workflow for e-commerce websites and apps. From the bulk upload of raw product photography to real-time manipulations and automatic optimization for different pages, product galleries, and viewers, to responsive delivery across various devices. The platform offers an advanced AI-powered digital asset management solution, dynamic media creation, optimization, and delivery, and dynamic merchandising. Under the hood, our cloud architecture is built to scale to billions of media assets. At peak loads, our cloud scales to a media load in the scale of Facebook and Instagram together. Cloudinary simplifies e-commerce web and mobile development with easy-to-use APIs integrated with the most popular web and mobile frameworks, as well as direct integrations with different tools and systems that are used in your organizations either as a part of upstream to the dam during the creative process, like different Adobe Creative Cloud tools, or downstream during delivery. And here we're talking about different CMS systems, teams, e-commerce platforms, and more. So to sum up this introductory part, Cloudinary is a must-have technology in the e-commerce stack of the top 3 sportswear brands in the world, the most popular food delivery startups, the world's largest ticket marketplace, and thousands of other iconic brands, including Allbirds, Canada Goose, Everlane, Michaels Stores, and more. Cloudinary enables these e-commerce brands to enhance customer engagement, shorten time to market, and improve conversion rates via better performing images and videos and more personalized shopping experiences. When using Cloudinary's platform different elements, Cloudinary's customers get a lot of benefits worth a lot of meaningful time. And as we all know, time is money. Some of Cloudinary's published customer case studies show that Cloudinary allowed significant save in page load times, which contribute to increase in customer satisfaction, yield higher conversions, and increase the average revenue per visit as well as time-saving going live with the new storefront. You're all welcome to read these case studies to understand better how some of the leading brands use Cloudinary and how Cloudinary helps them improve the bottom line significantly. Cloudinary helps you to solve the use cases and challenges which we discussed just now and which you're familiar with from your own business and operations. We'll run through a typical scenario of launching a new product on an e-commerce site, marketing that product, and finish up with innovation. We'll do this live as a series of demos to show how our customers use Cloudinary so you can see what's possible. We hope that this will also spark your imagination on how you can innovate and do very cool things for your own brands. Before we jump into the demos, I'd like to explain the flow and use case we're going to focus on in this demo. We'll focus on the following different areas which are typical for our e-commerce customers. In the process, we'll describe how Cloudinary fits into your functional ecosystem and tech stacks by creation and management of assets, using our DAM and tools for creative and content teams, leveraging AI capabilities, delivering the visual experience using e-commerce and CMS platforms and using product and marketing content, and sharing the content in innovative ways to new channels while providing new experiences with more ways to leverage AI at scale. We'll start with creating and managing assets, then take a look at our DAM, at some integrations with popular tools and services, and last but not least, how AI is a common fabric within Cloudinary to help you scale your operations. Let's jump into the demo. This is Cloudinary's DAM. Cloudinary allows you to upload assets from a variety of sources like Google Drive, Dropbox, social networks like Facebook or Instagram, stock photography services like Shutterstock, and more. Let's start with product images. Images were shared by our photographer with us using Google Drive. They can be seen here in this folder. I want to upload them all, and as a part of uploading them, I would also like to apply a set of business rules which will automatically tag them as well as remove their background. For that, I'm using this upload preset and clicking the upload button. The assets are being uploaded to this folder here. Let's give them a few seconds and they will be here. Start seeing them, and they're all here. Now let's see what happened while the upload took place. We can see that tags were automatically added to this image and to all other images. Cloudinary allows the use of structured metadata for defining specific attributes per image, like product ID or product SKU. You can modify or edit them here or import them from other systems like BIM systems. And we also have the analysis tab here, which is where the different AI capabilities of Cloudinary's DAM can be used. Auto tagging, face detection, OCR, color analysis, and more. We'll see how the color analysis is used later on in this demo. One more thing we can notice is that the image has a transparent background as we wanted. The background was removed automatically during the upload part. Now, let's have a look at another interesting use case. Talking about marketing images, our marketing department wants to create a new banner. And for that, our designer decided that she wants to use an asset she found in Shutterstock. This campaign is targeting the US market as well as the Spanish market. And for the US market, she wanted to find an image of Lombard Street that will be used for that banner. She was looking for it here in Shutterstock. This is the image she wanted to use. And again, like before, we're going to apply an upload preset, which will help us later on with the PSD being created. The asset is being uploaded to this folder here. We can see that it was uploaded. And now let's switch to Photoshop to see what our designer did with that image. So as we can see, this image was added as a part of a banner targeting the US market. And similarly, she did for the Spanish market, creating a banner with a scene of Barcelona. Let's have these assets saved and use the Cloudinary Creative Cloud connector for having the asset uploaded to that folder here, where we can see the Shutterstock image as well. We're clicking the upload button and the asset is being uploaded. While the file is being uploaded, Naveen will continue with the rest of the demo.
Thanks, Ariel. And hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to meet you all virtually. So far in the workshop, we saw how assets were created, how your designers could collaborate, and your photographers could collaborate with you and upload those assets into the Cloudinary DAM. Here, we're going to take those assets and we're going to publish it into this e-commerce site. And we're also going to look at how the marketing assets that were created earlier could actually be used in a marketing campaign. So we're going to look at a few demos here. So first, let me go over here to our Magento admin. So this e-commerce website that we're using for this demo is built on Magento, and Cloudinary has an integration into Magento. And using this integration, you can manage all your products, within Magento, the media for your products within Magento, and get it to show up in the most optimized and the highest quality and the best way possible in your product detail pages, in your product listing pages, category listing pages, and so on. So let me start with getting those t-shirt images that were created earlier into Magento. Now what I'm going to do here is take this product, which is ready to be published, and I'm going to go and add those images. Now when I go in here, you see that there is a add from Cloudinary option that's available within the Magento UI within its admin. So this is part of our integration with Magento. So what it allows you to do is your merchandisers can go directly into the Cloudinary DAM and pick the assets that they need to associate with certain products and bring those assets into Magento. Now you can imagine that your merchandisers are a different team, but once again, Cloudinary allows different teams and different groups of people to collaborate with all these assets that you need for your e-com operations. So what I just did here is popped into the DAM through our integration with Magento. I selected the 5 images here that were created, and I'm going to go ahead and insert that into Magento, and let's give it a second for it to finish. And when this finishes, you'll see that those assets were brought into Magento, and now you can go ahead and actually save it and publish it to the site. So while that is happening, let's go over to the site and then see what happened on the storefront. So here in the storefront, this was the product that we were trying to get those images into, and let me refresh this page and let's see if those have come. Those assets have come through. As you can see, the product imagery is now available on the on the listing page. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of show you here is the out-of-the-box optimizations that you get with Cloudinary and the Magento integration. So this image is already optimized, without you having to do anything, both in terms of the format and the quality. As you can see here, this is a WebP image that was delivered. What we had as the source asset was a JPEG that was produced by your photographer. But here we automatically converted that to a WebP image, given that I'm doing this demo on a Chrome browser, and this is the best format for that browser. And you'll also notice that the image itself has been cropped to the right size, based on the layout of your store, and this is where Cloudinary shines, where you're getting the benefits of automated operations around format and so on, and all the dynamic aspects of getting the right size of that image based on your on your design and on your UI. Now, if I look at the product detail page, you see that we've also got a beautiful gallery here, which allows your customers to kind of look at all different images and all different assets describing that product, and you get out of the box experiences that allow you to zoom into it and so on. Now, the product gallery here is once again something that is delivered through our Cloudinary integration, and this is happening automatically. All the optimizations to get the right sized images here, for your thumbnails, and then so on, and all the navigation and interaction here is something which is available out of the box. Now, if I go back to another such product that we had created earlier, you'll see that in addition to images, Cloudinary also handles a lot of different types of objects, and most importantly, videos. So we all know that videos are extremely important when it comes to e-commerce and when it comes to showing off the product and the nuances for your product. Here you see a video that was earlier added to this particular product, and once again, it's optimized for the size of your viewport here for this design. It's optimized for different codecs and all those complexities that you might face using videos or working with videos and delivering videos to your consumers is available to you out of the box. Not only that, the product gallery also allows you to design and show your objects with a 3D your products as a 360-degree spin set, as you can see it here. And we also support Cloudinary out of the box supports 3D objects if you might have that in your business. So very, very simple ways of associating media with your products and bringing it to life. The product gallery also has a lot of different styles in terms of the layout and in terms of the interaction, which is not available here on this particular demo, but you could look at all the different things that are supported if you visit cloudinary.com and look at our demos and our documentations from our website. Now, we saw this for Magento because that is where we build the site, but a very similar experience is available for you, and similar integrations are available for you on most of the dominant e-commerce platforms such as Salesforce Commerce Cloud, Shopify. And what we saw here was one, managing media for a single product, which might happen if your teams are merchandising things on a very individual product basis. But through these integrations, we also support large catalogs and automated management of products and its media across catalogs that could have thousands and thousands of SKUs. In fact, some of our largest customers manage through some of these integrations, they manage catalogs that are in the tens of thousands, as you can imagine, which is very common in a lot of large e-commerce sites. So now we have the product ready on our site, and now it's time to market it. So let's say that you wanted to, do something on the lines of, advertising and marketing it here on your homepage, where we're calling out Spring 2020, and you want to showcase, some, marketing material. Talking about that whole, that whole release of products, and it could be a lookbook, it could be any such thing. Now, how does Cloudinary help you do all of these things? If you remember, earlier we created, some assets for a landing page, right? So it was uploaded by your creative team into this particular directory here, and now it's time to take that and bring it to life. Now, let's say that you wanted to create two different pages. Talking about this product release, one for your customers that are, let's say, in the United States, in San Francisco, and another similar page for your customers that are, let's say, in Barcelona, in Spain. And so let's say you wanted to have like two different sets of images that go along with the copy that your marketing team has created. This one is in Spanish for the Spanish audience, and this is in English for the English audience. And what you have to do as a marketer is manage this page and publish it, right? So what you're seeing here is an example of Cloudinary integrated into content management systems, and in this case, we're going to talk about show the integration with WordPress. So this is very typical in a WordPress site. You have pages, you have a layout, and you have some images that you need to work with. And now it's time to go find the right image. So now I'm going to go again, try to add some media, and you'll see again that we are automatically in the Cloudinary DAM through WordPress. And here is where the Photoshop file was uploaded. And what we have done behind the scenes is Cloudinary, through its APIs and some very rich dynamic like transformation capabilities with Photoshop files, what we did was take those relevant layers. So if you remember, there were different layers that were created by the designer for different markets. So here's the English version and the Spanish version. These were automatically created by Cloudinary as soon as this PSD was, this Photoshop file was uploaded. So now it's ready to go. I don't need to do anything, special, going into Photoshop and trying to get the English version of the image that I'm interested in and so on. It's all ready to go. And I can just pick this English image because that's what I'm interested in. And let me go and insert that into this page. There we go. We brought it into WordPress there, and I'm going to go insert that into that page. And here's my image. Let me kind of resize that a little bit, and I'm going to go and update it. Now I want to do the same, very similar thing for, let's say, my Spanish language page. I'm going to go back to Cloudinary, and here, let me give it a second there, and then I'm going to go to that directory, that folder where it was supposed to be available, and here's the Spanish version of that PSD, and I'm going to go and insert that here as well, and I'll give it a second for it to come into WordPress. And once that is available, I'm going to insert that into my page that is targeted for your Spanish audience, and let me go and update it. Now, if I go and look at this particular, page, you'll see that once again, Cloudinary has done a lot of the magic behind the scenes. Here's that image that we saw, and if I go and look at what happened to this image, once again, out of the box, we have applied a number of different Cloudinary capabilities around auto quality and formatting. We've also got the image to be scaled to the right width that this template might have called for. And one interesting thing that you might notice here, and I'll call that out, is though we are on Chrome here, you see that for this particular image, we've decided to send down a JPEG. Earlier, when you saw the product images, we were sending down what is called a WebP format, which is what is typical for Chrome. And here's and you might ask why. Now here's the cool thing. Cloudinary runs a lot of sophisticated algorithms to figure out, based on the content of your image, the best format to send down to your user into your user's browser. And in this case, what we have determined is it's better optimized if we, for this image, if we were sending down a JPEG format for Chrome versus a WebP format. So Cloudinary is doing all of these things on the fly, and you don't have to worry about these nuances when you're busy running your business. So that was just a quick example of one such CMS integration. The Cloudinary dam that you saw within WordPress when we tried to add media, this whole experience here. Now, this is available for you to add to any CMS that you might be using. And in fact, we have a lot of customers that add it directly into their own internal tools that their teams might be using to manage assets. And Cloudinary has a number of these integrations and APIs and such capabilities that are available for you out of the box. Great. So switching gears, we talked about how AI is is a common fabric within everything that Cloudinary does, and what I want to do in the next few demos here is kind of walk you through how AI is done at Cloudinary and how it is useful for you as a marketer, as a merchandiser that is building all these awesome experiences for your users, for your consumers. So here I'll start with AI and how it is used to figure out which part of an image is the most interesting based on what you're trying to do with it. So here what I'm going to show you is an image that maybe your marketing team created as a part of a photo shoot. It came in. Now let's say you wanted to use this same image in different in different channels. Maybe it is on the web, where this might be perfectly fine on a desktop, or maybe it's mobile, or maybe you want to use this in your social channels, where you're more interested in a portrait kind of an image. But at the same time, you want to make sure that there are certain parts of the image that you feel are relevant, and it continues to be highlighted in when you take this and using our AI, when you take the right crops of these images and publish it. So what I'm going to start with is, let's say that I'm going to do a vertical rectangle, which is very typical if you're trying to do something on let's say Instagram. And out of this image, now when I want to publish this on Instagram, I'm using the same image, but I don't want to send this whole thing to Instagram because it's not going to look good. So I'm going to go here and say, I want this person to be there in the image when I do a vertical crop. So let's see how that happened. So now what you see here is a crop that was created with that person front and center. And if you look behind the scenes, Cloudinary is doing a lot of sophisticated steps behind the scenes using our AI to kind of look at what's exactly happening within that image. So here you can see a sequence of algorithms and machine learning that is applied to that particular image, to start with detecting edges and skin color and generating a heat map and all of that stuff, and finally coming up with the right part of the image, which is what you see here, and using that in the crop that gets created. So now if I just go ahead and look at what that image might look like, here's what it is right now. we have made it a very small image here, which is why you're seeing it in that small of a size. But you could imagine taking increasing these sizes and picking something which is more apt for, let's say, Instagram. Now, I could do the same with objects, right? So if I want to now say, let's say I want to focus on this person's tie instead, and because that is the product that is more interesting. So here you see that we've automatically figured out where the tie is, and now you can go crop this image and take that image and do what you want to do with it. Now, the same image that was produced, used in different channels, highlighting different objects that might be interesting for you. All this is available, programmatically through APIs for you to do, and a lot of our customers, end up taking this and adding it into their own tools to figure out, to give them the controls, in terms of what they want to take out of an existing asset, and when they're trying to reuse that existing asset in different channels. Now, this is great with images, but what about videos? So as you all know, videos are super critical, for e-commerce, generally speaking, for most of what website, digital channels do today, but certainly so for e-commerce. Here, what you're seeing is a demo where we could do the exact same AI-based, smart cropping for videos, what we did for images. So what you see here is the original video, which is playing on the left here. Typically, videos are produced landscape. If you went to a photographer and did a photo shoot, most likely you're going to have these kinds of videos in your catalog. Now, it is great, but you don't want to, take it as it is and use it on, let's say, your mobile app or your mobile site, or when you push this to Instagram or Facebook, right? So you want to go with the right portrait video with this aspect ratio when you're going out to these different channels. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that you're focusing on, when you're creating these crops, it has to be automated, and while you're doing it, to ensure that your product is front and center. So, for example, here, we are intelligently tracking the model and the product, and making sure that it is centered in the crop that gets created. So the idea here is, you could take a existing catalog of landscape videos, and using Cloudinary automatically generate the version of that video, or rather the derivative of that video, for use in your social channels, without having to go back and recreating this video, or spending your creative team's resources on re-editing and cutting a video for your other channels. And again, all of this is done automatically using Cloudinary's AI. So we saw images and videos. Now, how can we take this? And here we're kind of getting into how you can innovate using Cloudinary, and how actually Cloudinary can help you innovate. Using all your existing, let's say, assets that you have in your content library with products and so on. So what we'll try to do show next is an experience which many customers create as they try to think about all these new and upcoming channels, such as Pinterest and Instagram and so on. So here's an example where if you wanted to create, let's say, a mosaic of your product images that you might want to publish on one of these social sites, and doing it in such a way where you're reusing existing assets, but at the same time you're making sure that the story that you want to convey is front and center, right? So what you see here is us trying to do a dynamic mosaic without any hints. Inside of itself, this is pretty cool, because you can think about doing this for all individual images in your product, and showing a tile such as this. You see this on Amazon and a lot of different sites of late. But how can we do this even better, right? Because if I want to kind of get a mix of, I want to highlight the handbags that are there in these images, how do I get that to, be front and center? So I'm going to, here choose the AI that I want to use. And this is just an example again. Let's say here I want to kind of focus on the handbag here. And maybe in this particular picture, I want to pick the handbag. Now to mix things up, maybe I'm going to do, show the model as well, and then, get the model's face here. And if I try to go ahead and generate that mosaic, you see what happened behind the scenes. Cloudinary AI detected where the handbags were, where the faces were, and then we dynamically used that information and created this mosaic, which kind of brings that all together. And you could automate this, and this particular image is actually ready for you to go to your favorite social marketing tool and pick this this image from Cloudinary and send it on its way. Now, if you want to take this a step further, and if you really want to create very dynamic, personalized experiences for your customers based on their tastes, what you know about them, their browsing history, their purchasing history, and all this through existing imagery in your catalogs and things like that, you can take it to the next level. So here, what we're going to try to do is the operations that happen, or the additional metadata that gets added to your imagery and video when you uploaded it. If you remember when Ariel uploaded those t-shirt images, they were automatically tagged to kind of let us know what's within those images. And we also saw that Cloudinary did some behind the scenes color analysis on those on those images. So what we're going to try to do here is put it all together, where let's assume that you have a very large catalog, thousands of items in your catalog, and tens of thousands of imagery. And if you want to now create an experience similar to what you see on Pinterest, where these outfits are created with different types of fashion accessories and clothing, with different colors and so on, based on what your user might be interested in. Here's a demo that kind of shows you how you can now tie it all together: the AI, the dynamic aspects of Cloudinary, together to create exactly such such an experience for your customers. So what we're going to do here is, we've said, let's create an outfit which has a shirt and a pant and a jacket and a hat or a cap, and let's create different such outfits based on the dominant colors within those outfits. So on the one hand, we have these Cloudinary assets that have all these tags thanks to the AI that's running behind the scenes. We're going to use that to first go and generate this outfit. So I'm going to hit generate outfits. We'll give it a second. It's doing it real time. And there you see things are popping in. Now, the dynamic aspect of Cloudinary is what is really interesting here. Now, let's say I know that my customer is actually maybe more interested in the hat, and I want it to be like, let's say, front and center. And by the way, you can get this data from your existing data sources that you most likely will be running on your e-commerce sites, and kind of figure out what is more important for your customer, and maybe make this bigger, or even do things like, if you know that your customer is interested in green hats, right? Here's a way for you to kind of do that kind of a recommendation, or do that kind of an experience for your customer. In this example, we've just done taken this for an outfit, use this for an outfit. So I just made that hat a little bit bigger, and so on, and this was all dynamic. So I'm going to just go ahead and generate that outfit again. So you see that hat is now right on the top. If we really want to go crazy with it, I can do that and see how big that hat could become. We'll give it a second. There you see, just an example of how you can bring it all together to create these experiences. Now you could imagine your site, your e-commerce infrastructure doing this automatically, and you could use these these kinds of very rich personalized content in your customer's journey. Starting from when they showed up on your homepage, the product mix, that you might be showing can be customized on a per customer basis, and you could imagine taking this all the way through browsing, purchase, um, uh, you know uh, maybe using this kind of a technology on your social marketing channels, very personalized messaging that is possible on the fly and at scale. Now we have a lot of customers taking this a step further, where they would use these kinds of very dynamic capabilities and the AI behind it to let customers not just personalizing things for customers, but letting customers customize their product. So we have a number of examples where experiences are built where you could do a personalized logo on a T-shirt, or a wallpaper that one might like to use in their in their kids' room, or even things like wedding rings, and engraving things on engraving something nice on a wedding ring. So those experiences where you want to customize products are also possible through Cloudinary's technologies. So great. So I hope that kind of gave you a sense of what's possible. We started with creating products, and took it all the way to where you can create some amazing experiences with it, and also innovate. So you know I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes, tying all these things together, and also as a quick recap. So we started with creating and managing assets, and Ariel showed you some very cool things around our Shutterstock implementation, where your creative teams can go directly into Shutterstock and bring things into our DAM. We also saw some very important aspects around large scale product imagery and managing that through background removal, for example. Making sure that anything that comes into your DAM can be very easily managed, and backgrounds removed without having to go through your creative teams or your photographers. And we also saw the Adobe Creative Cloud integration. We touched upon structured metadata and how you can use that to add additional product information to your assets, so you can go and search for them, and you can use that in your e-commerce experiences. We also saw a fair amount of AI tagging and add-ons behind the scenes that provide you with many of these AI capabilities. But that's not all. There's a lot that's possible through Cloudinary, which we didn't walk through all of this in this particular workshop. But you can you pop over to cloudinary.com and see all these other capabilities. But just in terms of highlights, we support a lot of different cloud sources for your assets, Dropbox, Google Drive, and so on. A lot of partners that we work with, including AWS and Google, for some of the AI capabilities that that they're good at, that we want to bring in to Cloudinary. We also do a lot of products that are available to help you manage your assets. If you want to edit your product assets or marketing assets, once they're in the DAM, maybe you want to do a light retouch or change things ever so slightly without having to send it back to your creative team. All that is possible. And behind the scenes, there's a lot of we recognize that there are a lot of different teams that work on making an e-commerce operation successful. And Cloudinary, through its DAM, helps all these different teams collaborate and kind of get things done much faster and at scale. We also saw the visual experience, and you have all these assets that are now available. How do you bring it to life? We saw the Magento e-commerce store and the Magento integration there. We looked at the product gallery and how Cloudinary, through its auto everything philosophy, auto formatting, auto quality, and so on, just makes it that much easier for you to provide a beautiful optimized experience for your consumers. And behind the scenes, a lot of these integrations use Cloudinary's APIs and SDKs. So our products internally use the same SDKs and APIs that you can also go and get from Cloudinary and use it to, build whatever you feel, makes sense for your operations, and be really creative with what is really possible through the Cloudinary platform. We touched upon all the different types of assets that are all managed through the same DAM, and you can bring it to life for your consumers. We looked at videos, of course, and then there's also the 360 spin sets. We can do 3D models. In addition to Magento, Cloudinary is integrated into some of the largest e-commerce platforms that are out there, such as Salesforce Commerce Cloud and Shopify. And we have a number of Cloudinary customers that are on these platforms and that use Cloudinary, on their, to power their digital experiences on these platforms. Finally, we talked about marketing and innovation. We touched upon AI and how you could use it to create like really personalized media that that kind of hopefully goes hand in glove with all the other personalization efforts that you might have within your organizations. We saw how we integrate into CMSs through the WordPress example. Once again, the media library that represents the Cloudinary DAM is available for you to use in any tool that you might be using. And again, AI is a common fabric. We saw how AI is used to intelligently work with existing assets, and enables you to use all that hard work that you've done producing these assets, and being able to repurpose that for all your different social channels and literally your different digital channels that are out there. And these set of capabilities are what will hopefully allow you to kind of future-proof your implementations with Cloudinary. So if there is a new, let's say, social network that comes up, for example, let's say you want to go on TikTok and do something with Cloudinary that is something with Cloudinary that is specially required by TikTok in terms of sizes and formats and so on. You know that you have it out of the box. In addition to personalization, the examples that we showed, we have a number of Cloudinary customers that use image and text overlays and manipulation of assets to use them in email campaigns and really provide that personalized, I would say hyper personalized media for their consumers. Finally, I wanted to talk about, we've been talking about AI quite a bit, but there is a lot of capabilities around recognizing different kinds of objects within your assets, and you with that information can take take all that metadata that goes with an image. For example, did it have a shirt, a cap, and so on, and given all our dynamic capabilities and smart cropping and so on, you can create some very interesting and visually engaging experiences for your customers. So we've taken up a lot of your time already, so just want to wrap this up. Here are some additional resources. Cloudinary is a very large platform, and here are some specific resources for you to check out. How Cloudinary can help you with e-commerce and your e-commerce operations, and everything surrounding media and e-commerce. We also have here links to the demos that we use, so it's available. These are public demos. You can go and actually play with it and check it out. And we are hoping this really sparks your imagination on what can be done using Cloudinary, and we'd love to for you to do some very cool, interesting things for your consumers. And if you have questions or if you have other such great ideas, please do contact us. The email link is there down below, and we would love to hear from you. Finally, thank you for your time. We really enjoyed building this workshop and actually using real products and real integrations as a as a live demo, which is typically always somewhat dangerous, but we are happy that it worked well. And we really enjoyed building this, and I hope that you enjoyed this workshop as well. And before we sign off, given all the COVID pandemic situation around us, we do hope that you stay safe, you and your families stay safe, and hope to hear from you. Thanks. Bye.